Today on Commander Replay, it's Jodah Bringers Volume 2, now with less extra turn spells. Can Jodah find a way to get there against Nezahal, Marchesa, and Purphoros? Find out next on Commander Replay. Hey guys, I want to take a moment to give a shout out to one of my Patreon supporters, Ben Graton. Hope I'm saying that right, it's French. Ben signed up under the even more awesome Legendary Angel tier, which is super cool. He hails from Canada and has classified Tim Hortons as a national treasure, which I strongly agree with. Anyway, Ben, you are awesome. Welcome back everyone, playing some Jodah 5-color Bringers. Take a look at our opening hand. We've got a bunch of lands, a Crucible of Worlds, and a Cultivate. I'm going to go ahead and keep that. We'll just hope to draw into some action. Oh, Purphoros. Yee. Well, this might be a fast game. So we're playing Jodah. We'll be facing off against Nezahal, Primal Tide, Marchesa the Black Rose, and Purphoros, God of the Forge. That Purphoros, scary in the early game, and Nezahal, scary in the late game. Ooh, there's a Worldly Tutor. That'll get us into some action. Right here, I think we're just going to go Canopy Vista. Tapped. Next turn, we'll grab one of our Bringers. Sensei's Divining Top coming down for the Nezahal opponent. It's going to bring it back to our turn. I'm not going to use the Worldly Tutor just yet. I wanted to see what we draw. We draw another land, although that's a fetch land, which would be good with our Crucible of Worlds. So we will play the fetch land, crack the fetch land. We could use a land that makes black, so we'll get Bayou. And we'll do the Worldly Tutor bit at the end of our opponent's turn. Sky Diamond coming down for the Nezahal. Transguild Promenade coming down. So play the Worldly Tutor. Gonna go for the Bringer of the Black Dawn. Draw into the Bringer. Right here, let's play the Tundra. Play the Cultivate. We'll get a Swamp and a... We have a lot of white mana. I guess Swamp and Island. Nezahal's gonna Divining Top. Means that they're probably looking for lands. There's a Sapphire Medallion, so it looks like they didn't find the land. This will be a good turn to lay down our Bringer of the Black Dawn, since I think we'll be able to sneak it through the counterspells unless they've got a free one. It won't be Pact of Negation, that's for sure. Lawless Broker coming down. When it dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Oh yeah, makes sense in the Marchesa deck. So there's that fourth land for Purphoros. Bet we see Purphoros. Strangely, no Purphoros. Weird. There's a Time Stretch. So let's play the Sacred Foundry, untapped, tap for Wooburg, and play the Bringer of the Black Dawn. Opponent's going to Divining Top again. Still on the hunt for lands. Propaganda coming down for the Nezahal opponent. Marchesa the Black Rose coming down. Dethrone. Whenever this creature attacks player with the most life or tied for the most life, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Other creatures you control have Dethrone. Whenever a creature you control the +1/+1 counter on it dies, return to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step. Yeah, seems pretty good. I've faced it a number of times. It can overwhelm you pretty quickly. And Marchesa's going to get lightning bolted from the Purphoros. Nasty. So Purphoros making friends with the Marchesa. Marchesa's going to send in the Lawless Broker to the Purphoros. Sounds good to me. Opponent's going to Mizzium Mortars our Bringer. I mean, that doesn't kill it outright. They're going to need another burn spell. Yep, there it is. Oh, and it's going to get exiled? Rough. Brings it back to our turn. We draw a Forest. Ugh. Did not need a Forest right there. So I think this turn is going to be get Jodah down. And then we'll play a tap land. Archfiend of Depravity coming down. Flying. At the beginning of each opponent's end step, that player chooses up to 2 creatures they control, then sacrifices the rest. That should be helpful if Purphoros tries to get their token game going, but seems like they're playing a burn deck, which is kind of weird. Font of Mythos for the Purphoros. Sweet. We do need some card draw. I would like to draw into more Bringers. I don't necessarily want to play this Time Stretch, but right now we don't have anything better to do, so hopefully we draw into something. We're going to see 3 cards on our next turn, so a reasonable chance. There's a land, and let's see what the Font of Mythos gets us. 2 more lands! Awesome, alright, so that means it is, let's see. Oh, with Font of Mythos down, Time Stretch is going to be insane. Alright, so step 1 is Time Stretch. Would not be surprised if people just start scooping right here. Although Nezahal could have a counterspell. Yep, Yep, there's a counterspell. Bummer. Crack this Floodstrand. Get a Watery Grave. Pass the turn. Opponent's going to Divining Top again. Opponent has a Propaganda out. Ugh. We could have paid for that if we brought our land in untapped, but I forgot about it. So send Jodah into the Purphoros. Archfiend of Depravity is going to trigger. Font of Mythos triggers for the Nezahal. That's bad. Giving the mono blue deck more cards, always bad. That means nothing's going to resolve. Although they are luckily short on lands. Marchesa the Black Rose coming back to play. No attacks. Font of Mythos for the Purphoros. Gilded Lotus for the Purphoros. And Purphoros coming into play. Ooh, we draw a Debtor's Knell, a Mana Drain. Nice. How much blue mana do we have? We have 1 blue mana, 2 blue mana. Creatures in the graveyard. There's a Wonder in the graveyard. We could pull that out of the graveyard. That'd be nice. That's about it for right now. We do catch more lands, which we did not need. Play this island. Cast a Debtor's Knell. So, Debtor's Knell into play. I want to leave the mana open for Mana Drain, so I'm just going to keep swinging into the Purphoros. Fact or Fiction for our opponent. We'll let them have it. They're already having card draw anyway from the Font of Mythos, so Kozilek seems like a pretty good thing to counter. They are a long ways away from it, though. If they discard Kozilek, then we won't be able to get the Wonder, which is a little annoying. So, lands in Jace versus Kozilek. Kozilek's going to reshuffle the graveyard. So, currently no benefit from our Debtor's Knell. Opponent's up to 13 cards in hand. They're on 2 lands, and it's turn 7. Wow, that is a lot of missing land drops. All right, 3 lands now, but still, that means they've missed 4 land drops. That is tough. Swiftfoot Boots for the Nezahal. Launch, Enchanted Creature. Enchanted Creature has flying. When it's put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return it to its owner's hand. It's actually a pretty good little card. Opponent discards a Whisper Silk Cloak. Glad we won't have to deal with that. Opponent's going to Ether Gate a bunch of stuff. We're going to Mana Drain that. Reign of Gore. If a spell or ability would cause its controller to gain life, that player loses that much life instead. That's a card that I need to run more of. I don't play a lot of Rakdos, sadly, but... And when you're playing Mardu, life gain is a thing that you probably want. Nice. Opponent can attack us with the 3-2. That's fine. Priest of Urabrask coming down. It's going to add some mana. And that'll get a Purphoros trigger. Goblin Rally. Create 4 Goblin tokens. Going to be much more life loss. Down to 23. And we won't be able to gain any life. I don't know that there's that much life gain in the deck, but we certainly won't be able to gain any with Reign of Gore down. And so here's one of the things that happened. So Queen Marchesa could have easily attacked into the Purphoros last turn. Got them for 8 with just the untapped creatures that they have. Even more if they sent the Lawless Broker into them, which they sent into us. But the fact, like, it's turn 8 now. You can't be sitting back on turn 8. If you want to sit back on, like, turn 4, while people are just kind of ramping, not doing much, fine. But you have to understand that Purphoros isn't that far away from winning this game. They have a bunch of mana, they have a bunch of card draw, Purphoros is in play, and that's about all it really takes. There's a Maelstrom Wanderer, that's useful. We get the Mana Drain trigger. So 5 colorless mana into our mana pool, very nice. Play this... Well, let's get the Maelstrom Wanderer down. Ooh, we can cast with Jodah. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Although, actually, we have all the colorless. Well, let's see what happens. So, yeah, I guess we just use all the colorless, actually, right here. And we can still Jodah something else if we want to. Black, blue, red. Okay, yeah, that works. So cast Maelstrom Wanderer. See what the first Cascade hits. Opponent's going to Divining Top. Means they're probably looking for the counter, although they drew a lot of cards last turn. Be surprised if they didn't have one already. First Cascade hits a Rampant Growth. Not the best. Kind of hoping for creatures right there. Let's get the plains. Cascade again. Hopefully something with a little more substance to it. Sky Shroud Claim. Well... At least it brings the land's ends untapped, so that is something. So getting lots of ramp off of our Maelstrom Wanderer. Let's get Tropical Island and Cinderglade. Maelstrom Wanderer's down, so next let's cast our Madomai. If nothing goes wrong right here, this is going to be really crazy. Play this land tapped. Send everything into Purphoros. Purphoros is going to do a little bit of blocking. Sure. So Madomai hits, we're going to get an extra turn. That extra turn means that we can sacrifice Maelstrom Wanderer to the Archfiend of Depravity, get it back with Debtor's Knell, and draw more cards with the Font of Mythos. We are in a good place. So choose Jodah, choose Madomai, sacrifice the Maelstrom Wanderer, bring it back to our turn. There's Debtor's Knell on the Maelstrom Wanderer. Oh, it doesn't cascade. You have to cast it to cascade. Bummer. Well, it still comes back, so... Didn't really lose anything through that exchange, so I'm okay with that. There's an Austere Command. Ooh. Artifacts or enchantments? Enchantments would hit the Propaganda, the Reign of Gore. Reign of Gore I don't care about that much. Artifacts would hit a lot of stuff. So let's play land. Now I'm going to do some attacking into the Nezahal opponent. I'm going to need to pay 4. I want to get their life total down because if Purphoros starts slamming a bunch of creatures, then they'll just die to Purphoros' board state. So Nezahal goes down to 19. Still kind of in danger of the Purphoros a little bit, so I think we do need to blow up the artifacts. Do we need to blow up creatures as well? All of our creatures are big. Do we hit anything if we blow up small? We hit that guy and that guy. I guess we go artifacts and enchantments. So austere command for artifacts and enchantments. We will lose our debtors now. Probably shouldn't have did enchantments, honestly. Kind of lost focus there for a second. Not a lot of value in going to small creatures, just the, well, like 2, I guess, but yeah, whatever. Is what it is. Nope, it's going to get negated, so no big deal there. And in that case, we will lay down our Crucible of Worlds. So getting lots of value. Archfiend is going to trigger again, and we will do the same thing we did last time. Opponent going to do some more divining topping. Ooh, going to put Imprisoned in the Moon on our Madoma. Yeah, that seems like a pretty good idea. Flame Wreath Phoenix for the Marchesa opponent. Lawless Broker coming into us. Soul Foundry for the Purphoros opponent. I forget what this one does. Imprint. Enters the battlefield, exile a creature card from your hand, create a token that's a copy of the exiled card where X is its mana cost. Well, I hope that isn't something that makes a whole bunch of tokens. Though it probably is. It's a Batterhorn. There are worse things. We actually only have 1 artifact out, and like at this moment in time, we can live without our Crucible of Worlds, given that we have drawn so many lands this game. So I mean, straight up, Marchesa is playing an aggro deck. They are playing it wrong because they have not been attacking people. If you're going to play an aggro deck and plan not to attack people, that is a good way to lose the game. Ooh, Force Field. Rough. Luckily, opponent tapped out all their mana, so they won't be able to hold anything up on that. Opponent's going to Soul Foundry for a Batterhorn. It would actually be really not good if they go for their Font of Mythos. It's a thing that they could do. They feel like they have enough cards already. Nope, going to go after the Swiftfoot Boots of the Nezahal. So back to our turn, we get a Debtor's Knell trigger. That's going to get back our Maelstrom Wanderer. There's an Anguished Unmaking. There's a Paradox Haze. Anguished Unmaking's alright. Font of Mythos happens during our draw step, which is unfortunate. Play the land right here. I'm actually thinking about Blasphemous Acting because Queen Marchesa does actually have a lot of attackers, and the only one they would get back is the Phoenix. Yeah, I like that idea. Oh, never mind. We could have Anguished Unmaking on the Imprisoned in the Moon. I guess the other thing we could do is just, if we kill the Nezahal opponent, then we'll get Madomai back. Yeah, I guess in that case, send everything into the Nezahal. We're going to pay the 4. So Nezahal's down a 6. Time for Blasphemous Act. Cast it for the minimum. Ooh, opponent's going to put a +1/+1 counter on their Marchesa. Good chance that they forget to switch the zones that it's going to. So that should be alright. So opponent does actually switch the zones like they're supposed to. For some reason, their creatures did not come back into play. Oh, at the beginning of the next end step, that's why. Let's play this Paradox Haze. Targeting ourselves. We could recast our commander right here, but honestly, I want to leave up the Anguished Unmaking in case something unforeseen happens. So the Phoenix and Queen Marchesa coming back. Font of Mythos is going to trigger. Blink Mothern, fun. We actually only have 1 artifact. Diabolic Tutor for the Marchesa opponent. So Metallic Mimic coming down for our opponent. Opponent's going to send both into us. I'm not going to use the Anguish Unmaking right here for the simple reason of I'm very worried about Purphoros. So we're down to 10. Purphoros is going to get some mana. Purphoros is going to play a Dragon Egg. Okay. 2 damage to everyone. Going to use the Soul Foundry. Yeah, probably time to use the Anguish Unmaking. Shoot Purphoros. We're down to 5. Purphoros gets a copy of Batterhorn. He's going to target our Crucible of Worlds. That is fine. So many lands in hand. Not at all worried about it. Purphoros coming back to play. They got 3 open mana. As long as I can't make 3 creatures, we're in good shape. So, opponent asking if stopping Purphoros will grant some mercy. I can get down for that. So, opponent... Ooh, he's going to forbid the Purphoros. So, that's going to bring it back to our turns. We get a Debtor's Knell trigger. Let's grab the Maelstrom Wanderer. We'll get a Paradox Haze trigger. So, we get another Debtor's Knell trigger. This time, we're going to go for the Archfiend. Could use some big draws. There's a Dictate. Oh, man. Solemn Simulacrum's not what we wanted. Play land. Play Solemn Simulacrum. There are no basics left in our deck. Probably because we've drawn so many lands. Recast our commander. We can't do a ton of attacking. Got the Phoenixes flying. Those 2 are on the ground. Really need to leave 3 blockers back. That being the case, I think we just send in the Archfiend. So Marchesa down to 21. And we will pass like that, since all we have is lands. Nezahal coming down. Keeper of Keys coming down. They become the Monarch. Ooh, if you're the Monarch at the beginning of your turn, Creatures you control can't be blocked. That's kind of an issue. Ooh, opponent's going to Rite of Replicate the Maelstrom Wanderer. So they get 5 copies of Maelstrom Wanderer. Ha! Yep, not realizing that it's legendary, so they could have copied it once, but they definitely overpaid right there. And more importantly, they tapped out a lot of their mana doing that, so they've only got 1 left, which is good news. So, pretty big pump by our opponent right there, especially since they had so many cards in hand that they probably had other things they could do with the mana that they wasted on the kicker. So, opponent going to send the Phoenix into us and the Maelstrom Wanderer into the Nezahal. Nope. Sends only the Phoenix into us. We're definitely going to block with the Jodah. So, Jodah goes back to the command zone. We stop the damage from the Phoenix, and we get to stay at 5. Archfiend will trigger, and the good thing is opponent's going to lose some creatures right here. So we're going to sacrifice the Phoenix, which will come back, and also loses the Metallic Mimic. Purphoros, unfortunately, has a lot of mana. So even though it's going to be 8 to recast it, with the Blink Moth turned down, they'll still have plenty left over. So opponent's going to make a copy of the Batterhorn with Soul Foundry. We go after the Divining Top of all things. Interesting. Yep, the opponent's going to draw with the Divining Top, so no big deal there. Opponent's going to play a Traitorous Instinct on the Maelstrom Wanderer. So if they recast Purphoros, that will give it haste. They'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Purphoros will be a creature. It's a little scary. So here comes Purphoros. So Purphoros should get swept up by the Forbid. So going to Forbid against the Purphoros with buyback. Opponent says that Forbid is stopping me from winning. Nezahal says, yeah, that's why I play it. So we're going to swing into us with the token of Maelstrom Wanderer. Yep. Nope, decides not to. Going to swing into the Queen Marchesa opponent. Probably figuring that if Purphoros ever does come back into play, having everyone else's life total really low is where you want to be. So full swing against the Queen Marchesa. Sounds good to me. In the meantime, we're going to play this Dictate of Karamitra so that we can F6. I don't think Nezahal has enough blockers. Yeah, they'd be in trouble. Never mind, swinging into the Queen Marchesa. So, yeah, Marchesa's going to block the big one and take 8. The Phoenix comes back to play. Archfiend's going to trigger, so Purphoros is going to lose some stuff. Unfortunately, they're going to lose that Dragon Egg. That gives them a flying blocker, unfortunately, which is not great because that's how I was planning to get in there. They will lose 1 creature though. They lose the Maelstrom Wanderer token. We are in need big draw mode. A turn spell would probably be pretty good right here. Thinking Metallic Mimic. Metallic Mimic naming humans. Then we'll get the Priest of Urabrask. Nothing exciting going on with the mana, but it is a human, so it'll come in with a +1 counter on it. There's a Sylvan Reclamation. That can exile a Purphoros, but that is, man, more lands and more ramp. There's no basics left, so Kodama's Reach is useless. Oh, man. Oh, we can get Madomai back with the Sylvan Reclamation. Yeah, that's a thing that we want to be doing. Okay, so play this Forest. Do we exile the Soul Foundry? Maybe Reign of Gore? I don't know. No real life gain in our deck. So it's definitely going to have to be the Imprison in the Moon. Actually, Force Field is probably the other one that we want to get rid of. Nezahal is going to draw a card. So Madomai back to play. Cast Jodah. So we don't want to kill Purphoros right here because we want to keep drawing with the Font of Mythos. We do want to eliminate some of our other opponents if possible. So attack like that. We have to pay a little bit for the attackers. Opponent's gonna... Oh, never mind. Opponent can block the Madomai. Yeah, forgot all about that. Oh, that's bad. Yep, that's how you punt a game. About an hour and a half in. Oh, man. Oh, Marchesa survives at 1? Oh, my God. Well, yep. Totally messed this game up. There's a Thraxamundar. Let's see who they go after. So Thraxamundar coming into us. We will sacrifice the Solemn Simulacrum on the off chance that a Cyclonic Rift shows up. It's a Rhystic Study. Hey, could have used that Rhystic Study eons ago, because all we've been drawing is lands. So we go down, and Purphoros should have the very easy win right here. Cast their commander, play any creature. Yep, there's an Insurrection. I'm going to scoop right here. We know how this one ends, and opponents have been playing really slowly. So, this Bringers deck. I was really excited about trying this deck out, and in 2 games, it's a bad turns deck, is all it really is. I'm just not impressed, especially in the last game where we drew like 45 cards throughout the game, and I mean, we just didn't hit anything at all. Like, I'm also upset about the huge punt that I made at the end. You know, you get like 90 minutes into a game, kind of tired, lose focus, and then you forget what you're doing. Plus, opponents are playing really slowly towards the end. I mean, you know, it was a good 20 minutes between turns, I think, and it becomes really hard to stay focused when it's just taking so long for your turn to come back. And yeah, so big punts. Also, not in love with how the deck is actually playing. The Bringers themselves aren't really taking the main focus. It's just kind of a bad turns deck, really. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. This has been Jodah Bringers. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.